final game between SK and Barely Online.
I'm hoping that it will fit.
What, Barely Online or?
No, my box. I'm working with my box.
Ah, excellent.
The box of doom.
The box. Wrong game there, friend. That's the wrong game.
How is that the wrong game?
The box is an ability from a different game.
Yeah, I know, but that's not the wrong game.
It's 100%
I still
the
put
wrong game.
I put everything in the box.
Don't put me back in the box. Do not put me back in the box.
Well, I have something for you in my box.
Also, I got the map right. Haha.
Yes, it's Curse Hollow. I said that.
You know, but I called it.
Yeah, you called
it.
dibs. You always dibs.
The power of dibs is more powerful. That's all the draft phase is. It's a giant game of dibs.
Okay, so it's not Twat, it is SK Gaming, so I need to
swap them
change
over.
no, I need to change the title to Barely.
Oh, yeah, name them. Alright, so it is SK Gaming on the left-hand side, and it is Barely Online on the other. Barely Online, currently with a 5-man mid-group. This could be fun.
Yeah, so SK Gaming is doing exactly the same thing.
10 seconds.
So these two teams, interesting setups here, both of them looking to get that middle lane advantage. Another thing that you have to consider here on Curse Hollow is the fact that, well, we have these nice hoofs, is that what you call them? Horseshoes?
Yeah, the Stitch's horseshoe trap, I believe, is what you're referring to. They are all heading down there, but they're going to be spotted. It's the SK Bushwhack. Here's the full 5 versus 5 engagement. And SK picks up the first kill on Rhaegar. BKB's going to back out. And that is the 5 versus 5 level 1 fight, with Rhaegar being the person to go down.
Yeah, he face checked that one without any fear, and well, he paid the price for that one. Fortunately, the timers aren't all that high at the start of the game, but what I do like here is that both Raul and Zarmany are standing right next to the observatory.
Yeah, they're not taking it, they're just chilling here. I think they're waiting for someone from they're waiting for someone to come pick it up, because it has not yet been picked up. But we can see the rowing squad from Barely Online is just chilling here, and they're not using the horseshoe. They are literally just waiting here to try and get a hook, and then Ufa runs in for the stun, not going for it at all. But we can see Zeratul and Nova have just arrived, and they're going in. There is the route, and they're going in onto Kingan.
Kingan in a lot of trouble here, takes quite a bit of damage, but turning it around to Raul. Raul actually forced to blink over the wall. The hook misses. Kingan can't quite catch onto Raul. And this time it isn't going to be a kill going over to SK, but neither is it going to be a kill going over Barely. Let's say Raul barely got away out of that situation.
Yep, someone just gave an assist ping. I'm not sure who it is. Oh, Raul, he's heading to the watchtower, so he knows they are taking it now, but he's going to be able to get out fairly well,
no,
actually.
There's the hammer. Raul in a lot of trouble. He's taking quite a bit of damage there. There's the root from Malfurion. Market going really deep, but the hook onto Link is right there. Link might just go down here, and the continuation of the fight. BZ taking a lot of damage here, and eventually... Oh, they actually have to turn around. Saka gets hit by the root, but they turn around and nobody dies once again.
Yep, no deaths. BZ comes in to help Raul. Raul blinks out. No, sorry, it was Link who came in to help Raul. Raul gets out. BZ comes in to help Link. They both get out. Very solid play. And then, once again, we saw Link
damage on
come
the Kingan, a Venom, and the kill for Zarmany.
In Venom Auto, and that is 2 kills.
Oh, BKB in the top lane is getting ganked here. 3 versus 1. He is going to fall, and that is a kill going over to Barely.
Yep, and that is good timing for them, because the tribute has just started to spawn. BKB is going to be up in time for the fight, as long as his team can hold them off for now. We're going to see the full 5 versus 5 again. Oh no, Rhaegar heading back to the bot. No, he's just dropping a lightning shield. He's going to be a bit late now to this fight. We're seeing both teams posturing very cautiously. Raul does get scouted out by Destin there. Gonna blink out and get ready to posture here. BKB is going to start taking it. Kingan is looking for an opportunity, but they can't get in. That is going to be the first tribute to SK, and they will quickly head back to their lanes. Rhaegar barely got there in time to throw down one ability and then instantly left.
Yeah, Rhaegar is like, I'm not all that useful right now. Nice.
Just got in there. Lightning shield. My work here is done.
Oh, the hook.
The hook is down. Destin being dropped low. Heals himself. Shields himself as well. Gets rooted by BKB, but we saw Raul there go down.
Oh, there's Kingan coming in.
Kingan has come in. Zarmany is being engaged on by Sheep here, but they do not want to finish the chase, and they're going to back out. That was very close.
That was indeed very close, but it did equalize the kill count. Hardcap now being taken by Barely, And so they should get themselves a little bit of a XP advantage, maybe get themselves that little talent advantage once they hit level 7 before SK Gaming.
Well, they don't actually have anyone in the top lane, so they're actually falling behind in XP here. That hard camp will help, but SK have kept it even by having no one in late, by having someone in that top lane.
Oh, Saka.
Yeah, that was a bit risky, but he's still fine. There goes the scouting drone by Malfurion. That's seriously going to help them here in this area. We're going to have to see Rhaegar back out King and looking for his opportunity, throwing in a skill shot. Ral, nice positioning.
Oh, the hook onto Link. Link is in a lot of trouble, is able to walk out of there, but a nice route there onto Destiny and Saka. Saka actually surviving for now, but gets hit by the Envenom. One more hit from Nova, that's all it takes, but Nova has the hot shot, so it isn't going to be there, right? Actually, it is going to be there in the background. BKB still survives though, and they're forcing barely away from the Tribute. Tribute almost the answer roll. It's just a few more seconds, and it is Raw that picks that one up. They're going to continue the fight here with BZ, using his overdrive to try and get Destin and Borka, but in the end, it is just a Tribute for SK Gaming, and they managed to pick up Stitches as well.
Yeah, they did pick up Stitches thanks to Ral, who did just chase him down. Ral was dropped very low, but he was able to get in before and basically camp it out while he did, while he grabbed the Tribute, while his team did cover him. We'll have a quick look at the talents while we see Stitches not able to get a hook down in that mid lane. We'll have a quick look at the talents. We have the standard Clairvoyant, Shield, and Conjurer's Pursuit. Out of Destin on the Ufa. Sometimes people take a different talent at level 1. Scouting Drone from Linked, as well as the increased range by the Elun's Grace. And we're seeing the ability-based build slightly different in the form of reduced blink cooldown by Ral. A much more mobile build by him, but the double Envenom, no gathering power onto Zarmony, because it's going to be Ral who's attempting to get all that gathering power. But now SK not even bothering to go for this Tribute. They're just going to let Destin pick this up while they soak XP in the lanes and get themselves even more ahead.
I think this is the correct decision here by SK. They know, okay, it's a little bit too deep into enemy territory. It's near their own, near the watchtower of the enemy, which makes it even worse, because if it were to spawn on the top side, they might have a little bit of a vision advantage. But now they're also taking the hard camp, so they're going to be putting down a lot of pressure on the map. They're going to hit level 10 before their enemies, and once the next fight for the Tribute breaks out, it might just be SK who walks away victoriously.
It might be. SK do have their ultimates now. They're trying to look for a fight here. There's actually one that might happen in mid lane, and there's one that is happening in top lane. BKB being engaged upon again, but he's going to be able to back out. We did not see Destin get his stun down, but both teams are now level 10, so the Tribute will spawn. And it's going to be on SK side of the map. Both teams have their ultimates, so they're going to look in for this engagement.
Oh, Saka in a lot of trouble. There's the shotgun all landing on all of them. Nice Void Prison there, locking up King and Destin. The precision strike does go down, but Nova is already dead. They managed to pick up Stitches in return, but it is a very bad situation for SK. Raw desperately trying to get out of there. But look at the damage that Sheep is doing right now to Destiny. Sheep gets dropped to about half hit points. Eventually falls back into his normal form. It's a 1-for-1 trade. But I think that the team of Barely got ahead in that one.
Actually, well, SK are all quite low. Their team is quite snipey and quite bursty. We're seeing Falstad is already back in the fight. There's the essence for healing onto Sheep, keeping his team alive once again. Malfurion is not yet back in this fight. There is the Divine Storm onto BZ, who's Odin. It's only going to keep him alive for so long, and he's instantly popped out of it. However, they do get the Rhaegar for this, and Kingan has been locked down as well. It's now 5 members of SK, and they're going to chase this down, choosing their engagements carefully. But we did see in the background, Barely Online were able to pick up this Tribute, but at the cost of all of their members. That's all 5 of Barely Online did die at one point or another in those
That's going to cost them a Grave Golem, that's for certain. Yep. And the only thing you have to keep in mind is that the Tribute did go over to Barely Online, which allows them to maybe pull it back if they can get the next Tribute. Of course, they are 1 level behind, which means that they have to pick their fights really carefully. And this Grave Golem is going to wreak havoc in the top lane, meaning that the team of Barely Online has to take it out with all 5 members just to make sure it doesn't deal any damage to the fort.
Yep, that was a nice clairvoyance and a good attempted hook by Soccer, but SK were all out of position, so out of the position that Stitches wanted them to be in, so was unable to land it. I also feel very sorry.
This is actually pretty good for Barely Online.
It is. They have control. They've thrown down the Earth Totem to even slow members of SK. They have to get in here and stop this. Rhaegar is attempting to deal with grenade. They do
the
it, so now the team is coming in. There is the Void Pistol, so there's going to be no ancestral healing for a few seconds in this fight. There's the silence by Malfurion, and there's everyone pretty much killed off. It's just down to Rhaegar. And, oh no, Ufa gets killed off. The Divide, the ancestral healing still goes off though, because he was in Ghost form, but it does not heal him up. Falstad's not even going to enter this fight. He was not able to fly near enough because of his fly range. And it's just Rhaegar and Falstad that get out alive. Neither of them are going to contest this. Ufa Ghost, sorry, was still harassing Ral while he was trying to capture this. But this is the first curse for SK.
I think the Uther bots should have just let them take the curse. The reason I'm saying this is because SK is currently on the Grave Golem, which you can expect, and that would have already drained the curse for 5 seconds, maybe 10.
No, I meant Uther Ghost. Uther Ghost was just harassing
Yeah, exactly.
them,
He shouldn't have done that.
It gives his team enough time to spawn, though.
Yes, it does. However, it also gives SK more time with the curse, as they have a Grave Golem in the bottom lane. So, while yes, your team does have the time to respawn, SK will have a Grave Golem in the bottom lane, with a longer curse.
In the end, anyway, I'm pretty
sure. But that would mean that right now the curse would have been dying down.
Oh, I see what you mean. I get you. I still think it was an okay decision. Just delay. I think the team being alive is more important than sorting this Grave Golem. This Grave Golem will get him a push, but it would have been able to take out this fort, even if the fort came back online now, the Grave Golem would still take it down. It's not going to push too much further than this anyway. Curse, running out in 5 seconds. We're going to see SK come down here and assist the Golems. The Golems are actually going to get a little bit more push out of this.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. If Uther just let SK take that take the curse, it would have been at least a lot easier to defend against Grave Golem. It should have already gone down.
They would have had no one to defend it. I disagree with what you're saying, but right now we are going to see barely online. Are we just going to focus on this Golem and take it out? Well, SK looking for stuff to do on the map. They're clearing out any waves that are pushed. They've pushed mid lane a little bit more. Zeratul moving on to the easy camp as well as Beezy. And the rest of them are going SK. Going to head to this top lane, push up this wave, and attempt to take this top forward. Looks like they're just going to dive it with BKB tanking it like a man.
Yeah, there's nothing that Fort could do about it, and just goes down. That's 3-4 in favor of SK. It's not looking too good for Barely, but they're still hanging in there, albeit barely.
Yep,
although, never mind, Ral's army.
Around. They're
who's
around.
going to die? It's Kingen.
Yeah, he gets rooted and stunned. Ufa gets the Divided Storm, and Kingen's still alive, but he does go down, gets rooted as well. That's a very short cooldown on that root. Does get both players there. Very nice. We can actually see here he's taken tenacious roots. Entangling roots last 25% longer. Who just got hooked?
I don't know.
It was Zeratul and he just blunked back over. It's fine. I just heard a hook while I was looking at talents. But he's taken 25% larger roots and roots last 25% longer. And roots targets for 0.5 seconds longer. So it is a lot of extra rooting here by Malfurion. And he has Rewind, which is giving him a lot of potential for rooting. And his silence also included in that Rewind. So getting a lot done. Linked making a lot of use of this Malfurion. Very nice to see him in the game.
But now though, Hardcamp going over to SK, they have the ability to actually rotate over to their... No, they don't. I was in the impression that their boss camp would have respawned already, but it didn't. And yeah, although on the other side of the map, Hardcamp has also been taken away by Barely, so that is also not a possibility for SK to pick up. Right, so another tribute spawning on the bottom side of the map. I am expecting Barely to just let SK take it.
I think they'll contest it. They have all 5 members alive, and they pretty much have to. They'll clear out this hard camp, and they will try and harass, or at least try to get in. Like we can see Stitches thinking about it. No, you were right. They're just going to leave it. They're going to move around towards... Not sure where. Oh, they're moving up towards top Golem. They're going to attempt to take that while this is going on. But that's exactly where SK are going to head next. And they are all on their way up. Oh, they're going to go for a bushwhack. Oh, the snipe reveals the beautiful snipe.
Yeah, smart move there by Harmony. Never face check a brush, especially in Heroes of the Storm, given that the lack of vision is just humongous. For now though, the Grave Golem is respawning.
Nice
Clairvoyance coming out. Yeah, Clairvoyance is going to give them a little bit of vision, but this is a very, very risky situation for Barely, because they want to get the Grave Golem because they need the pressure, but SK is in the vicinity and might just pick up the Grave Golem here. Another thing to keep in mind is that the tributes should be spawning in the next 30 seconds, maybe 20. There we go.
And
15
oh,
seconds.
that is an amazing spot. Now we're gonna have to see Barely Online gonna have to fight one of these things.
Oh,
nice
look
hook
at
off
the
the Harmony. He does go down. Now they have a really good opportunity to fight. There's the scouting drone. Is gonna see all these members of Barely Online coming, but SK are still probably going to fight this, or at least harass it to try and delay it. A couple of them back
all they
out.
have to do is
mid lane.
take a.
Yep, nice.
I'm pretty sure that they should be trying to send a few guys over to the golem here. Oh, the gorge there by Saka. Nicely done. Yeah, Raul's in a lot of trouble here. Yeah, Raul might just go.
Beautiful, but here's Destin. Did catch him out, and Divine Storms to kill him off. Curse is now in favour of Barely Online. They're not even going to go for the golem. They're just going to go full ham onto this mid lane and try and get some forts in their favour. Nice long range hook there by Saka, but not able to catch anyone. He has taken that fishing hook upgrade. He's also taken a relentless talent, as well as Arthur's taking the same talent, which reduces the duration of CC on them, which is pretty nice when you are one of the main engagers and just main tanks on your team.
But now though, they're rotating over to the golem of SK Gaming. This is a smart move. They want to take the bottom fort. They have about half a minute to spare before the curse runs out. If they just let the golem reign supreme in the bottom lane, there are two options they can take. They can go all in on this bottom lane and maybe push all the way up to the keep, or go over to their own golem and get a second golem up and running.
Looks like they're gonna go all ham on the bottom lane and then rotate up to the golem. Gonna do both. So we can see SK have taken their easy camp, which will just make easy top lane a bit easier for them to deal with. Barely Online all rotating up to this top lane. SK not going to be able to respond to it because they have to deal with this golem in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they have to deal with the golem in the bottom lane. That means that the hard camp is going to go over to Barely, plus their own Grave Golem. This is a good comeback here by Barely, because they were on the back foot all the time, and now with having taken out both the mercenary camp and soon will take out the Grave Golem, they might have a possibility to actually push the top fort as well and get themselves equal in forts.
Yep, SK were thinking about heading up to that top lane, but they now know that the golem is there, so they'll send a couple people up to defend, and everyone else will hang in the areas. And now the lanes are very pushed up in Barely Online's favour. XP camp still in favour of SK. They've been handling this fairly well, keeping themselves a little bit ahead, but they have to defend here. They need to keep this fort alive to keep themselves as far ahead as they can. In order to, if they can stop this fort dying, then they will still have a fort advantage, but this fort is pretty much doomed. It's still 5 versus 5 with the help of a golem in favour of Barely Online. So Barely Online have now evened up the fort count, but SK still slightly ahead in XP.
Slightly, but now in the mid lane the push is coming from the hard camp, and actually the Grave Golem is still alive, so that one is also going to be putting down a lot of pressure here on this top lane. You can already see that Barely is getting ready to go onto the top lane, but also Saka is ready for the hook.
Nope, you can't hook through that wall. You can't hook through buildings there, Saka. But there we go. The golem does go down, so now SK have eased up the pressure a little bit. Their hard camp is available though, and that looks like exactly where Barely Online is heading, or at least they're hanging around this area. They've clairvoyanced it. I think they were trying to catch out SK there, but SK are actually now heading here, so Stitches could still hook over the wall here. He's thinking about it. There is an Earth Totem there, which gives him the vision. He knows that no one is there. There's BKB. Are they going to attempt to risk it? Looks like they're all going to head round to this area and try and fight it right here. This is a risky situation, but
this is a good position actually if they want to fight. If they want to fight, this is the position they have to do it in.
They're going to leave it. They're going to leave it. They're going to push the lane and then rotate up for that tribute. SK though do take that easy camp, and they're now going to hang around where the tribute spawns, wait for their opportunity to try and engage.
Well, the advantage that SK has is that the lanes are now pushing in their favor, and that the opposing team will have to fall back. Tribute has spawned, and the moment anyone shows himself, could be a very, very long range hook by Stitches.
Could be. He is in the bush. They're all ready for a bushwhack. No one wants to really go in on this. The clairvoyance, though, is actually driving SK back a bit. They don't want to take the risk. Now, this tribute here will not give either team a curse, so it's not too important a tribute. But neither team really wants to give it up. The hook from Stitches hits nothing. That will now be down for another couple seconds. Beezy is going in. There's the Void Prism hitting a couple members. Sheep has Metamorphosis in here. He is doing as much damage as he can. He's going straight on to Beezy. Beezy's immediately been popped out of Odin, but Stitches did go down very early. There's the Ancestral Healing, very nice. There's the Divine Storm onto all of SK, but we're seeing SK drop very low. They're all so low, and Illidan is doing the majority of the standing tall here, and he does go down. It's still 3 versus 3. Roll blinks out. He is now recloaked. Zarmley and Linked are still pretty high on health. They could, if they wanted to. Oh, that's huge damage onto Falstad, and we're going to see Ral go in on him. Ral is so low, but they're all trying to look for that snipe. It's now a gank game of how well SK can pick off members of Barely Online. Oh, Ral, you don't want to be there. Ral. Good blink. Oh, look at the chase.
Barrel. One more hit.
Oh, takes him down. It's now up to Nova and Linked to see if they can pick someone off. And they can delay for a long time. Falstad's actually flown away, so they can harass for a long time. Especially seeing as the fact that Linked has taken the extra range on his ability, so he can now harass from even further away, and that route lasts even longer, so they can delay huge amounts of time. But now, players from both teams are coming back up. Most of Barely Online is alive. There is the precision strike, and onto Zarmley. He's taking the feral lunge, huge amounts of damage. There is the heal onto him. There's the shield, and another precision strike there does go down and hits quite a lot of people.
But he should be looking at the top lane.
They should be looking at the top lane indeed. It's actually doing very well. Illidan's heading up there. And finally, Barely Online get that tribute. That was a nice delay out of SK. And their top lane did push very heavily there. But both teams have now hit level 20. So we have the Divine Hurricanes. We have one resurgence for each team on the form of Arthas and Stitches, the main tanks. We do have a Storm Shield on Barely Online where there isn't one. For SK, they've gone for the Protective Prism and the Precision Barrage, the double ult upgrades, and the big red button, which gives the Odin the extra nuke. And Bolt of the Storm on Malfurion doesn't really have an escape on his own, giving him one. Very nice to see. And it's the same with Illidan, giving him a bit more extra escape. And it's the ult upgrade on Falstad, the Blast of Ore, giving it extra range and damage. So we're seeing both teams pretty much some very similar upgrades. Both teams level 20, so we may see a fight here at this golem. In fact, we definitely will. We're seeing SK posturing around the area, and they're going in here. We're seeing Barely Online back out. Ral's actually in a pretty bad position here if he gets caught. Nice Void Prism, though, and he is now being engaged on by Sheev. He's trying to lure him into the Void Prism. He gets engaged on, instantly taken out.
Storm! The Defiant Storm is huge. Linked immediately gets dropped. Now they're onto BKB. He's the only tank remaining on SK. Nice ancestral healing there onto Saka. Saka is just going to be hooking BKB right back in. Nice thunder totem right there. The slowing totem is all that they need. One more hit onto BKB. He goes down, and that's a 4 for 1. And a tribute, and 2 grave golems. This is magnificent for Barely. And SK, a team that was pretty much dominant during the first 3, maybe 4 ESL Community Cups, is now on the back foot against Barely, not barely legal, but
barely legal.
Barely Online.
Yeah, they're really struggling. SK are really struggling here because they're getting a wombo combo. They're getting Divine Hurricane into Shock and Awe. And with that Shock and Awe upgrade, it's taking them down because they have so many squishies. Malfurion is actually a fairly squishy character. Zeratul and Nova, all fairly squishy. Ral is getting caught out quite a bit here. And BKB and Nova have been left alive a lot in this, and they can't really get the good engagement. And because of this, Barely Online now doing really well. Ancestral healing and the heals from Ufa are actually keeping their team alive really well. Illidan with the full tank build. He is gone for the first aid. He hasn't gone for Stone Skin, but the first aid is more than enough to keep him alive with the help of his evasion ability. He's just hanging on in there in these fights and dealing out the damage onto the really powerful assassins of SK. And SK very much on the back foot here. They finally, for the first time in this game, have an XP deficit.
XP deficit, and now also a level deficit, as the team of Barely Online is going to be hitting level 22. For now though, the push is real. Grave Golem in the top lane. There was a Grave Golem in the bottom lane. It has been taken away. But the next tribute is going to be lethal if Barely Online actually gets the hook onto Roll. Gets scorched.
He's scorched. He has Blink. He has Blink. And
into a wall.
He can't make it over the wall. Doesn't have enough range, and Roll gets picked off. This is why Stitches is such a good hero who gets banned out so often. He is huge for the picks, and that's so dangerous, especially when you have so many squishies on your team. SK with so many squishies, and like we said in the draft phase, this is actually a really good draft for Barely Online. They're so sustainy and so tanky that they can survive the huge burst coming out from SK. SK have very few people to pick here except Falstad, and he's always in the back.
Yeah, and even if they try to get to him, he can barrel out of there to just survive. Nice hook there, but they didn't quite reach. And now with the curse being down, SK is in a lot of trouble. They need to start fighting right now, or they risk losing everything they have.
They need to fight.
This is their final stand. They have to.
They need to win this engagement, or at least tie it up. They do still have 2 precision strikes available, thanks to the precision barrage, and with rewind, that will go to about 3. That will go to about 3 or 4, which will get them a huge amount of damage. But they still are gonna have trouble. They're gonna need to pop all their ults. There's the clairvoyance, so Barely Online knows exactly where SK is when they want to engage. There's the route onto Soccer. They're gonna go in onto him. There's the shock and awe. It only hits Raul. There is the storm shield shielding up most of Barely Online. Raul once again dropped down. Very nice precision, very nice void prism there, but it's not enough. The Odin is being popped so quickly by Sheep, and this is not looking good for SK here. Zarbon is attempting to damage. Scissor strikes have gone down. BZ is being focused though pretty hard. Sheep finally being dropped low and does finally go down. Destin has been rooted. BZ did survive thanks to the huge heals from his team, but the push continues and the keep does go down. That's all 3 keeps down for SK.
One thing I would like to notice here, yeah, you were talking about the 3rd keep, it went down to minions only. So they managed to draw out the fight long enough for them to pick up the keep as well. So now they have catapults in every single lane, and SK has nothing left. If they get backdoored, it's all over, and getting backdoored is, or rather backdooring, is something that SK has done in the past. So they
something they've had done against them quite a few times in the past, and they know it is something they could struggle with. They're going to take down the easy camp, and we can see Barely Online have just pulled back, going to play it safe, just go back to their side of the map, take their easy camp. It's the only thing that's up now, but golems will be up soon. The top golem is up in 150, bot golem up in 1 minute exactly. And tributes will start spawning again. SK do have 1 tribute in their repertoire, so they can get a good engagement here if they can survive. The Void Prisms from Raul have been huge, but he's not been able to get the full damage off along with it. Really, really struggling here. Just so squishy.
The issue with actually Void Prisoning the squishies or the damage dealing characters, if your composition is geared around taking those out, Void Prison is basically saying to them, okay, I'll have an ice walk for 4 seconds. And that's kind of what is hurting SK, because the moment they come out of Void Prison, they immediately drop all of their damage onto SK, and SK goes down.
Yep, this is true. We've seen some nice Void Prison, but I would prefer to see some different targets maybe. Or at least they should actually pick off the tanks in those targets. Oh, Raul. Raul is able to dodge the hook, and it does miss the rest of SK. Raul actually does get rooted there by Rhaegar.
Oh, Precision Strike.
Healings himself. As Precision Strike did hit everyone. There is the Odin, and there's the nice, damage there thanks to the Divine Storm. And Ufa does get popped with Precision Strike, but in the back, Soccer is doing huge damage, and there's about to be a very strong push in this bottom lane. Odin is attempting to help clear it. Saka is being dropped low. Raul will be able to pick him up as he attempts to escape. He does go down. Now they need to clear out these giants as quick as possible. They have defended. They did get a 4-man clear, sorry. Since it's just had Resurgence. And there is the tribute. If they can get this tribute.
Yeah, SK really, really needs this tribute. They have 30 seconds on the clock. I expect them to go straight towards the Grave Golem, get that push going, just to stop all the catapults from rolling in, and then pick up the tribute. I expect
they can send Lynx on his own to the tribute. Okay, that was an interesting Bolt of the Storm there by Lynx. Well done. Using the wrong active ability, meant to put down his scouting drone, but hitting the wrong ability and Bolt of the Storming in that short area. He can delay this tribute for a while. He can run there very quickly. And that's what he's going to do. He's just going to wander over it. If there was anyone there, he could be harassing them with his W. Going to just finish taking... No, he's very indecisive here, is Lynx.
He's a little bit scared that Falstad and his buddy might be hiding there.
Yeah, there's plenty of spots he could be hooked from, and here's BKB just body blocking just in case that does happen. And Barely Online just trying to keep their lead here. They're going to take down this Golem, which is... SK have to defend this. They have no keeps to tank this anymore. It's all down to the core. And with that Golem down, it is Golem to Golem, and SK need to stop taking keeps, but they also have to keep defending. Raul actually drops super low by their minions because those catapults and those knights do a lot of damage.
Yeah, now the biggest part is that the entirety of Barely Online is now moving into range of the core. Big Grave Golem coming into the top lane.
Hook on
BZ. Yeah, this is
he
game.
gets
This
scored.
is game.
That's pretty game. He is Odining straight up. The team does get silenced. BZ, it's actually good. That's an incredible Void Prism there. There's a Divine Storm. Precision Strike hits quite a few members, but the Golem is pushing past all this. But SK did get Stitches, and Illidan is about to drop. He's so low. He does get out thanks to his team, but SK have to deal with this Golem. Don't get stunned. That would be a game-ending thing if they were to get stunned by that Golem. Rahl does get rooted, and Illidan goes straight onto him, trying to pick him off. The shield is down on the core. BKB is being focused down the root, does not hit anyone. Falstad is also focusing the core, and this is going to be game. And we're going to see Barely Online taking this quarterfinal game, and they will move on. Another huge upset.
Wow, amazingly done here by the guys from Barely Online. They did a fantastic job of just staying. Actually, they came back. SK was ahead all the time, and then suddenly Barely Online was ahead of them instead. And I did not see that one coming, Thatcher. I really did not see that one coming. Yeah, so
Stitch is MVP.
Stitch is MVP, that's for sure.
Amazing.
Let's take a quick look at the brackets. Who are they facing? They're going to be facing Fast Forward, who have beaten out Team AAA. So it's going to be Fast Forward against Barely Online. Let's see if they can actually take down Fast Forward as well. In the meantime, though, ladies and gentlemen, we are going into a quick music break, and after we return, it is going to be Fast Forward against Barely Online.